What's up, guys? I'm John. This is Josh. We're going to take a look at level 1 and level 2 retention holsters and how they might fit into your gun games. So Josh is going to show you the difference real quick between a level 1 and a level 2 retention holster if you don't already know.
So a level 1 would be your basic friction retention, retains on the trigger guard. When you pull on the firearm, it comes out. A level 2 would be a second level of retention. So it would include your trigger guard retention, but also a secondary, whether it's ejection port locking or a hood type. Ours in particular has a little thumb button. Thumb button comes down, and you still have that first level of retention, so it won't come out upside down, but you can draw normally like a normal holster. Hood back up, now you have a second level of retention. So it won't come out unless that hood is down. Some companies use their second level retention as an ejection port locking system. Those are also good. And then a level 3 would be a trigger guard retention, ejection port locking, and a hood, or some other third level of retention besides just the 2.
Now, Josh, I'm not a cop. I'm not in the military. Why would I need a level 2 retention holster?
So if you're running competitions or anything like that, 2-gun, 3-gun, if you're running just a regular outside the waistband, single level of retention holster, there is a possibility that when you're running, especially if you have your retention loosened a little bit, that your firearm could come out of the holster as you're running. And typically, if you're running in a competition, losing your firearm in the middle of a stage is usually a DQ. They'll either DQ from the stage or sometimes DQ from the match, depending on what kind of match you're running.
Yeah, so most matches, if your firearm comes out of your holster and hits the ground, it's an automatic disqualification. Most of the ones that I've seen are from the entire match. So now, we make competitive shooting holsters that are level 1 retention. They've got an open ejection port. This is our standard outside the waistband, so more of your everyday carry style holster. But why do we recommend those for competition? Well, that's USPSA or IDPA or IPSC or something like that, where you're kind of static shooting, maybe a little bit of moving and shooting, or moving from point A to point B to shoot static again. You're not climbing ropes, running with sandbags. You don't have sling manipulation on your rifle. You're not going underneath things or climbing over different implements. So that is what we call tactical 2-gun or some tactical 3-gun. So the tactical games, we see a lot of first level retention holsters out of the tactical games. I think the majority of guys are running some sort of second level of retention, but we do see some level 1 retention only holsters in the tactical games. Now, the tactical games can get fairly involved, can't they, Josh?
It can get, from everything I've seen, all the videos, especially the ones from this year, it looks pretty intense. Heavy sandbags, pulling sleds, some sling manipulation, so rifle slung, now you got to sling it around. A second level of retention, whether it's a hood or ejection port locking, something like that, is going to ensure that you don't accidentally lose your firearm during a stage, or it comes out when you don't want it to. Especially with a lot of crawling and running and things like that, or picking up a bunch of heavy stuff. There's always a possibility that you could hit that thing by accident. And I've seen some videos where firearms didn't actually fall onto the ground, but they were loose. They were hanging out, like trigger guard all the way exposed. Luckily, they just happened to fall back into their holster. But with the second level retention, with that kind of movement, that kind of intense exercise, whatever you want to call it, you definitely need a second level of retention. I wouldn't say just a first level of retention is enough for something that intense.
So we do a lot of training on the range, right, Josh? And we do compete in some of these tactical 2-guns. So where we are in North Carolina, there are a lot of training facilities that are used for SF with our proximity to Fort Bragg. So there are a lot of matches in our area that we compete in, and they're a lot of fun. They're designed to crush your soul. So how they do that is make you run a sled for quite a bit of distance and carry sandbags and crawl under things, climb over implements. That's with your rifle, that's in full kit. So there's a lot going on. You may need to manipulate your rifle in a way so that you can carry an implement that you may not typically manipulate your rifle in that direction. So I've seen guys' slings get hung up on their handguns, and then they drop the implement, they go for their rifle. There's a lot of things you may not think that you're gonna experience, and having that second level of retention for those types of events, I think, is mandatory.
It just ensures that when you go to grab your pistol, it's there. And all the second level, third level retention holsters, they're not difficult to manipulate those retention levels. Ours, it's just a simple thumb button, drops the hood. Some other ones, you kind of push down and forward, or push down and pull back, some of them. If you're looking for those like quarter-second time savings, you're typically probably going to be running some type of 3-gun where you want to be the quickest possible. And if you could save a quarter second, you're gonna try and do that. But right, for those type of matches, like, I would rather have my pistol retained and take that extra quarter second or less. And we could do sub 1 second. We have done sub 1 second draws with our level 2 holsters. It's not impossible. It takes some training, but it is definitely possible. So
if you're a USPSA Grandmaster and you're looking to shave every fraction of a second off that you can, you don't need this video plenty. You're not looking for this type of holster, and that's fine. We're not saying that these don't have their place. We're just trying to explain where that place is. These are great for everyday carry. They're great for static shooting, range shooting, things like that. They're fantastic. The added cost and size of these may not be great in every scenario. So if you're going to be running those types of matches, though, definitely make sure you're considering a second level of retention, whether it's from us or Safariland, Alien Gear, Blackhawk, any of those guys. They make a great product. So that's pretty much it. Take this information and do with it what you will. You should get out there and train, get out there and compete. It's going to do you a lot more than you think it will. So if you're not already doing it, we do urge getting out there, training, competing, taking those skills and pushing them to the limit, see where your flaws are, and exploit those failures. So don't practice what you're good at, practice what you're bad at. This way you can get a little more rounded. So we make the gear for you. We've got a wide range of different types of gear options. So definitely check us out. Consider running some tactical style 2-gun matches. If you're into fitness, it's a lot of fun. If you're into shooting, it's a lot of fun. It kind of combines both of those things, and it's a really good time. So
it's a great way to test your gear. It's also a great way to test yourself. Can you shoot in a stressful situation? Can you shoot after you've ran a mile or more or carried something really heavy? It's a great way to, like I said, a great way to test your gear, great way to test yourself, see where your fitness level is. Maybe you need to improve something. So there's always something to improve.
I hope this video helps you guys. If you have any questions, contact support@daraholsters.com or give the shop a call. Our customer service team's ready and willing to help you in any way that they can. So appreciate you guys. Stay safe out there. Cool.
Good.